Canadian summers are short, so every sunny day counts. Out here in cottage country on the Ottawa River, just an hour and a half from Ottawa, it's all about kayaking, swimming, fishing, and soaking up the heat. Here's a little taste of a perfect cottage day. In just a few short weeks of summer, we try to pack in every memory: swimming, fishing, barbecues, and sunsets. When the heat finally arrives, you make the most of it. Today, I'm taking you along for a typical cottage day on the Ottawa River near Westmeath, Ontario. And with these scorching summer days, most of our time is spent right where it should be, in the water. Let's dive in. These first days of August brought a heat wave, the kind that makes you forget Canadian winters even exist. Hard to believe that this river will be frozen in 5 months. Temperatures feel like 33 to 34 degrees Celsius. That's about 91 to 93 Fahrenheit. It looks like global warming is here to stay. Fun fact, the Ottawa River is Canada's fourth longest river, stretching about 1,271 kilometers. It starts up in the Laurentian Mountains of Quebec and flows all the way into the St. Lawrence River. Here, near Westmeath, the river widens into a maze of sandy islands and wetlands, a perfect playground for summer adventures. Today was my first time on this part of the Ottawa River, so I chose the kayak to get a real feel for the water before trying the paddleboard tomorrow. My plan was to explore a couple of islands downstream, but the current turned out to be much stronger than it looked. I decided to circle a small island and head back, just to test how hard it would be paddling upstream, and I'm glad I did. This island, by the way, is actually on the Quebec side. At one point, it felt like being on a treadmill. I was paddling hard, giving it my all, and still not moving an inch. Before I got too tired, I changed course. When you're on the water, the key is not to panic or fight the current head on. Instead, techniques like diagonal crossing or zigzagging can help you make progress. And if that doesn't work, head closer to shore. The current is weaker near the riverbanks, making it much easier to move forward. Voyageurs who traveled this river centuries ago had to face the same currents. In the fur trade era, paddlers would sometimes line their canoes by pulling them from the shore with ropes, or carry them on land to bypass the toughest stretches. The Ottawa River has been a natural border between Ontario and Quebec since Confederation. But long before that, it was a highway for the Algonquin people, and later for voyageurs transporting fur and supplies in the 17th and 18th centuries. After all that paddling, I took a quick break to stretch my legs. From the road, you'd never notice, but there's a quiet little boat launch area here, and it was incredibly peaceful. Recharged, I headed back on the water, this time staying closer to shore and just taking in the view. I wouldn't mind spending a few days in a house like this one. Back at the cottage, it was time to wrap up the day on the water, play with the kids for a bit, and fire up the barbecue for supper. But before that, I wanted to give the drone another try and see how the visibility was looking. That haze is a reminder of how connected Canada's landscapes really are. Fires burning hundreds of kilometers away still shape daily life here. It dims the sunlight, paints dramatic sunsets, and highlights the environmental challenges we face. And it's not exactly ideal for flying a drone. a new day, and we're right back in the water. The Ottawa River isn't crystal clear like the Caribbean, but on a hot day, it's as refreshing as it gets. We spent hours swimming, drifting, and cooling off, and of course, fishing. This river is home to smallmouth bass, walleye, northern pike, and even muskellunge. On a calm evening, you can cast right off the dock and still have a good chance of catching dinner. And tonight, the menu's as fresh as it gets. Smallmouth bass. Now it's time for the stand-up paddleboard. I brought my own, but I'm using the one that comes with the cottage since it has a camera mount. My plan is to head toward another island, this one bigger. Even from a distance, I can see the current is strong around it, but let's find out just how strong. As I expected, the channel between the two islands had rapids. Even with a kayak, there was no way to paddle upstream, so I went with plan B, turning left. The current was still strong, but I managed to make it to the island. Originally, I thought about landing and walking around, but then it hit me. Many of these islands are privately owned, with cottages where people spend their summers. Since I wasn't sure which were public or crown land, I gave up on that idea. Next time, I'll do some research first before going ashore. Back to port, and as the day winds down, the Ottawa River feels calm and unhurried. The water settles, the air cools, and time seems to slow down. The perfect way to close out a summer day at the cottage. It's not about luxury or perfection, but about being close to nature and enjoying the simple moments. So that's a glimpse of a typical cottage day here on the Ottawa River. Summer is short, so every moment counts, whether you're out exploring or just relaxing by the water. If you enjoyed this little escape, hit like, share your favorite summer memory in the comments, and subscribe for more adventures. Until next time, see you by the water.